Hello world, welcome back to the Razor RC, and they say I'm a slow learner, and that's probably true because I picked up this bad boy, the Outcast 4x4 4S BLX. This is the V2 version, came out about, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I do have the Creighton 4S V2 version, and to be quite frank, I haven't had very good luck with that. Broke several chassis in the first few packs. Still working on testing that and understanding that car. And I didn't have that great of an experience with the V1 Creighton either, but I said, what the heck, I'm going to get this, the Outcast V2, and just see what it's all about. It seems like people have less breakages with this, which makes sense because it is a shorter wheelbase vehicle than the Creighton 4S. So it should be more durable, but we shall see. So yeah, this is a little unboxing here. Comes in 2 colors, blue and bronze, and they did make some changes. Obviously, they did try to address pretty much everything that people were complaining about. They did make it a little bit longer. I think the original Outcast was way too short. It was based off the Granite, just flipped like crazy. It would do quadruple backflips in like 2 seconds. It was insane. Probably too hard to drive, honestly. So they did lengthen this. This is kind of what they call the medium wheelbase. So they got the short wheelbase, which is like the Granite or the Vortex. Now they got the medium wheelbase, which is the Outcast. They got the long wheelbase, which is like the Typhon or the Big Rock Crew Cab or the Senton. And they also have now the extra long wheelbase, which is the Creighton 4S. So longer and stronger. Who doesn't want to be longer and stronger? They did redesign the shock towers. That was a little bit of a geometry issue with the originals. They were laid down way too much. This is correct geometry, so I'm glad to see that. And I don't think anyone really comments on that, but the original shocks were laid down way too far because they were just kind of using the original 3S shocks. New body, redesigned bumpers. They do have a new center brace, a new, I don't know, the wing, wing and wheelie bar, a little bit different there. Aluminum shocks, really nice. 17mm hexes, which is a nice improvement. That was one of my complaints with the Creighton V1. Slightly redesigned slipper. It does have like this little piece that wraps around the end, prevents it from like kind of flaring out. That was an issue with the V1. Slightly redesigned drive shafts with kind of some metal pieces for a little more durability. The big one, steel machined diff gears. I don't know if they're sintered, cast or machined, but all metal diffs. That's really nice. Big improvement. Longer, wider. I believe the tires are the same. Thicker motor mount, which is really nice. That was another issue with the originals, and it does include sway bars, which is pretty cool. So yeah, we can do a little unboxing and see what's inside. Okay, here we go. We got the Outcast out of the box. First impressions, the blue looks quite a bit different in person than it shows up on camera. It's actually more of like a lighter aquamarine blue. It looks kind of just like a medium blue or almost like a royal blue, but it's really kind of a, I don't know, it's really pretty color, like aquamarine, maybe topaz blue is how I would describe it. A little bit different than it looks like on camera. Some extra parts, this funky little tool to get out the wheels and stuff like that. Preload spacers for your shocks. They are not threaded. And then some little Allen wrenches to adjust like your slipper or whatever. A little get started guide tells you how to use the vehicle. I believe in multiple languages. Looks like German as well as, I don't know, French, Spanish. Some little QR codes there to look things up. The technical pack, which is probably the thing you'll look at the most if you are experienced, because it does have the parts diagram, shows everything that you need, all the parts numbers. Not everything is 100% available yet, so that is something to watch out for if you need some spare parts. But yeah, little explanations of how to get the motor module, the center drive shaft, take apart the motor, and then set your mesh and that kind of thing. I guess it comes with a 17-tooth spur guard. Did not know that. I thought it was 15-tooth, but we shall see. And then how to adjust a slipper. Seems like that causes a lot of people problems, but one day I'll make a video on that. Sorry. That seems to be something people have issues with, but yeah, that's on my to-do list. The radio, SLT3, really good radio actually for a budget radio. I think it's excellent that Spectrum came out with this. This is something that Spectrum's kind of been working on the last few years, is kind of coming out with a budget radio that doesn't cost them too much, but come out with a receiver that actually works with other Spectrum radios, and it does come with the SR315 receiver, which will work with kind of this basic SLT3 radio, which isn't bad. If you only have one vehicle, this works totally fine, no issues. Foam wheel, adjustable endpoints, third channel, 4 AA's, 2.4 gigahertz, and for some reason mine came with like an extra cover, so never seen that, but I guess if I break one, I got a spare one. That's got to be a mistake. I suspect that most people are not going to get that. So here's the vehicle itself, tethered body clips, of course. Some people have issues getting these things off, and yeah, on my crane, a little bit difficult. Integrated kind of roll cage here in the back. Nice looking decals, really thick body in my opinion. This is one of the thickest and stiffest bodies out there. Don't just bash, blast, the signature Arrma slogan. A little bit of tape around the body hole so that they don't, you know, rip quite as easily. A couple screws here to mount that roll cage. Probably does help a little bit, I don't know. But really, really nice body, really attractive. They also make a bronze one, which I'm not super fan of, but this blue one is beautiful. Oh, it's even got kind of an integrated spoiler there in the front. Very pronounced compared to even other Outcast bodies, in my opinion. So here's the vehicle itself. Plastic tub chassis, you know, like I mentioned, it is a little bit longer than the Granite, but shorter than like a Big Rock crew cab. So this really is designed as a stunt vehicle, doing tricks, doing backflips, front flips, wheelies, kind of be a little bit out of control. And yeah, I think so far from what I've seen, it does live up to that performance. Center drive shaft down here in the middle, Spectrum branded ESC, I believe it's a 120 amp, 4S capable ESC. It does have 2 plugs, including a loopback port, which is nice because the original V1 Creighton and Outcast I don't think had that, although I think later editions they did include that. But that is nice. Spectrum branded motor. I think it's a 38 by 60 off the top of my head. No, 38 by 68. I don't know. Somewhere around there. 4S capable, plenty of power. Does use, looks like, I think 4mm bullet plugs. It comes with a fan, which is nice, and a heat sink, which will help keep things cool. If you run on stock gear, no issues there with overheating. Here is the motor assembly or motor module, slightly increased thickness. You can see it there, even peeking out a little bit by an additional millimeter. 2 battery straps, which I did have issues on with my Creighton Forest V2, so we'll have to watch that. I'll definitely carry some spares when I go to try this for the first time. Battery tray, it does have this little swivel thing here to allow you to pull out this red sliding module holder, I guess you would call it. Redesigned body mounts, I think, seem pretty flexible, a little bit on the soft side, which is what you want, so when you land the thing upside down, you don't break it. Shocks on my Creighton were excellent. I think one of the best tuned shocks out of the box. Felt no need to make any changes. It does come with the backflip LP wheels, excellent wheels and tires. One of my favorites for an RTR. You know, even worth getting just as a aftermarket part to put on another vehicle. I think these are really excellent tires. They work really great. At my local bashing spots, really small wing. Much smaller than the Creighton wing, does have a wheelie bar as well as a bumper, but the general vehicle fairly similar to the original V1 Outcast. They did lengthen a little bit. They do have all steel internals on those discs. They used to be plastic input gear, plastic ring gear, but now they are all steel. That's really nice upgraded drive shafts. Does include the sway bars, which, you know, I actually run my Creighton without the front sway bar. It gets a little more steering, a little more performance, in my opinion. And it doesn't even roll over or anything like that. Now, the servo 23 tooth SR652 servo, I believe. Servo saver, I think, is fairly soft. Probably worth getting a Kimbrough servo saver just to stiffen a little bit. Because it does tend to give a little bit. A lot of people think the issue is a servo, and obviously increasing the servo or using an aftermarket part will help it be faster and torqueier, but you know, probably 80% of it is actually the servo saver. Redesigned shock towers, much more vertical shocks, which is huge improvement there. Proper droop, proper plushness on the suspension action, so that is excellent. And yeah, this thing looks pretty good overall. I'm probably actually just going to run it straight on my DX5 Art Pro radio. Nice that the receiver just binds right up, so no issues there. And you know, the SLT3 is totally fine, no complaints about it, but I do like the DX5 Pro a little bit better. So anyways, that's a quick unboxing the Arrma Outcast 4x4 4S BLX V2. We are going to see how this thing drives. I'm really excited to try to take this thing out, see if it holds up. I think this chassis will be a lot better than my Creighton 4S V2, because that one, you know, honestly, it's probably close to 2 inches longer than this thing, and inch and a half, 2 inches longer. It's got, you know, a little bit, I think, of some more chassis weakness, I guess you would call it. It's got an additional hole. It is much longer, and so obviously a bigger chassis is going to be more likely to flex, break things in the middle. But this is a nice little short chassis. It is interesting they did include a little standard bearing there to help stabilize that center drive shaft. Still plastic drive shaft, no changes there. I think there probably going to be some aftermarket aluminum pieces, which may be worth getting. That again was a little bit of weakness on the V1. Not massive, but certainly something you could tear up, especially as you've got rocks and stuff there caught in the chassis. So anyways, that was a quick overlook of the Outcast 4S. Don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe buttons. Look for more videos soon. Thanks for watching.